throughout my U.S. career, like in the junior pipeline, a lot of the coaches that I was able to interact with, they talked about, making a mistake and then moving on from the mistake. And that was something that I really had a tough time learning. But once I understood that, you make mistakes every day from moment to moment, you could just, you make a mistake and you have to move on from it. And it's all about like the next 3 seconds and what you do after that. And of course there were moments like I doubted myself and I doubted my ability. You look at players from Massachusetts. Field hockey is not necessarily our sport. We're like big into ice hockey, big into soccer, but you look at Pennsylvania is such a huge hotbed for field hockey. So coming from Massachusetts, it was like I needed to really break into that U.S. team because, you're not super well known being from Massachusetts. Sorry, my dog is squeaking her toy. Of course.
It's all right.
Yeah, so just like small little things that, you have to just figure out how to deal with. And don't get me wrong, it's extremely difficult. Like you go into the program and everybody knows everybody because they're all from the same area and they've been growing up playing with each other for so long. But, just having that belief in myself and belief, from my coaching staff, especially at BU, and my parents really pushing me along to, say, okay, this is something that you can do, helped me get to where I am today.
Ally, you mentioned the field hockey staff at BU. Sally Starr is the head coach there, and she's a field hockey legend. She's coached at BU now for 42 seasons. So what advice did she give you during this time?
Yeah, she was just like, go out there, continue to make mistakes, continue to, enjoy it, have fun. That's something that's big in our program at BU is like find the joy every single day. As you're learning and growing, it's so important. So yeah, she was huge in just, teaching me the ropes, teaching me, okay, what are the avenues, how to get to the national team. And continuing to just be you and have fun out there.
Now, playing for Sally Starr, I know that she was also an encouraging force to you, even trying out. So what was it like developing under her? And I guess, can you kind of walk us through that conversation that she had when she told you to go for it?
Yeah. Playing for her was amazing. I mean, she is a legend of the game, has been involved, in field hockey, but, other sports as well. She's a legend. And just so supportive in everything, that we wanted to do, pursue in our different careers. My class was incredible. She really just sat me down and, same thing with Tracy Paul, the assistant coach, and was like, hey, this is something, you have the skill set, you can go do this. And again, like that's something coming from Massachusetts, I didn't fully understand what that looked like. So coming from her, she was like, you can do this, you have the skill set, and you need to just go out there and, put your head down and grind and work as hard as you can, take everything in that you can, everything that, different coaches tell you, and just continue to have fun. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Might as well try. So, yeah.
You said coming from Massachusetts and you didn't really feel like you knew if you could do it, if you could really be on this national team. And you said you started at the bottom. It kind of took you some time to really solidify your role on the team. But what was the moment when you realized that you really belonged?
So going through, I would say about my first 6 months on the team was really hard because, it was huge. It's a huge step up from college to international play. You, again, have to be pushing yourself every single day. And it's not just physically, it's mentally, it's, skill is tactic wise, you have to be on your game every single day. So the first 6 months was really tough for me, and I was challenged a lot in my playing style, in my physical shape, and then COVID hit. So we were unfortunately away from each other for about a year and a half, I want to say. And then at that point, we started playing games again. And I worked really hard to make sure I was in the right physical shape to be playing. I pushed myself, to work on my skills. Something big in my game is I love to be able to hit down the field. So working on that, making sure I was working on my vision. And I could definitely see it all pay off in those games that we started to play. I think it was like May of 2021, something around there. So it was a good chunk of time that we had off. But it was really awesome to see, all the work that I put in start to, come to fruition and see how I could influence the game, especially at the international level. So it's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you touched on your personal development there, because obviously that's important. But you also mentioned something Laura and I wanted to bring up, just the difference between your college level of play and then entering this international environment. You mentioned the personal side of your game, but externally, what was the biggest difference that you saw when you entered this international stage?
The pace of play is just so much faster. You're playing against, it's not 20-year-old girls anymore. It's like 27 to 30 to 35-year-old women that have been working hard their entire careers to get to this point. And you look at different styles of play. For example, the Dutch, they are very fast forward, do a lot of like give and goes, love to lead ahead, and that's something that's like coming from the collegiate level. They have an amazing system over there where they start playing very young in their club system. And, you have 18-year-olds playing with 30-year-olds. And, they have such an established program. So, getting used to that pace of play was definitely difficult, but it's like once you get it and you play in the system every single day, you really start to adjust, which is pretty cool to see, even now as I am a little bit older in the program and I see new players come in, I see their development over time. And, it's pretty cool being able to be like, okay, listen, that's something I experienced too, and it's natural, and eventually you will get there.
Wow, that must be so rewarding for you to kind of see that come full circle. That's really special. We want to definitely dive into the Olympic qualifiers because that sounded like it was a really exciting tournament. Now, for people that don't know field hockey or Team Olympic sports, not only do you have to make the Olympic roster, but the team actually needs to qualify for the Olympics. The country needs to qualify for the Olympics. And for field hockey, only 12 nations get to compete in the Olympics, and you need to qualify at one of these qualifying tournaments. Now, at the time of your guys' qualifier, which was back in January, you were ranked 12th. And like I said, you're ranked 12th in the world. And like I said, only 12 nations make it to the Olympics. So at the time of that qualifier, like, what was your guys' mindset going into the tournament?
Yeah, so to give you a little bit of background, every region has their own qualifying tournament. So we played our Pan Am Games back in October of last year. And we have Argentina in our region. Argentina is ranked number 2 in the world right now. They are absolutely incredible. So playing against them, it was like we were so the underdogs going into that tournament, and we knew that. But our goal was to get second or higher. And that was like a non-negotiable for us for placement into the Olympic qualifier or direct qualification into the Olympics. So going into that tournament, we're ranked 12th. The Olympic qualifier is in India, and we knew it was going to be a super difficult tournament. We were playing one of the top-ranked seeds, India first. But our biggest thing was understanding, like, there is nothing wrong with being the underdog. And sometimes when we look to reframe pressure, it actually is such a understanding that like the pressure is not on us, it's on them. Playing India in India, they're expected to win this game. So for us, the biggest thing was reframing that pressure, understanding that there was no pressure on us to win. Nobody expected us to go there and, place second in the tournament. So just playing free and, playing with joy and connecting, with each other, and understanding that no matter what happened, we were going to do it together. Win, loss, anything in between, it was always going to be together, us, the team. So that was our biggest thing going into the tournament.